everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Father's Note, where we promote fatherhood through building men. As always, we're so happy that you took the time out of your busy schedule to spend this evening, this moment with us. As always, we just have, I believe, another great episode for you, another broadcast, and I'm telling you, I'm very excited about this. And the reason is because I got somebody who is very close to my heart, and again, family, of course. And this is none other than my oldest beloved sister. Say hello to Lady Elaine Nelson.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I was thinking about this. I was like, man, it's been a while since we really sat down and had a very intimate conversation. So this should be good because, you're on my platform right now.
I am.
Yeah. We spent a long time coming. Yeah. So would you mind just taking a little moment and tell the audience something about yourself? Who you are,
Okay.
give us some background.
Of course. So, hi, everyone. I am glad to be here with my brother, my oldest brother. My name is Lady Elaine D. Nelson, Elaine Nelson. I am better known as the hostess of the South. I am a 10-year domestic violence survivor. I do own my own oil company called Lady Smell Me, because we all must smell real good when we go out in the public. Yes, God. So yes,
That's for sure.
that's who I am. I am a host. I am a mother. I am a grandmother. I am a friend. I am a bootleg comedian. I'm not getting paid for it, but I like to crack jokes. And yeah, I just love God's people. That's who I am.
Awesome, awesome. That's a nice roundup of who you are. Yeah, that's great.
Thank
That's
you.
great. So I have this category right that I want to
Okay.
go down. So
Let's
we're
go.
gonna break this thing really down.
Let's break it
And hopefully at the end of this broadcast, what I hope to accomplish is that other women would be inspired and encouraged and
Mhm.
uplift.
down. Mhm.
And I know it's hard for a lot of women, and a lot of women go through a lot of things, whether or not married, single, different background experiences and things like that, lifestyles. But yet though, me standing on the outside looking and watching you and seeing all the things that you've gone through and experienced in life and to see where you're at, we pray and hope that they're able to be encouraged
Right.
as well
Okay.
as you. And
Mhm.
so let's take it from the beginning. So
Let's go.
as a daughter, how would you describe your life as a daughter growing up in a home with Christian parents?
Oh my God. Well, I'm good.
Especially with the father we had, huh?
Oh Lord. Well, let's talk about it. Well, I will say that it was interesting. It was interesting. It was good. I won't say that life was bad, because life wasn't. Um, was I spoiled? Yes. Yes, I was spoiled. But what I like about it is that the reason that my parents were our parents were who they were, is because we are who we are today.
That's right.
Because of our parents, of who they were to us, who we are today. And because of the foundation,
Mhm.
I'm able to stand to be who I am today. Were there some things that I did not understand growing up? Yes, I did not understand it, but I understand it clearly now. The reason I understand it is because I have children.
Right.
So what
Tell me
happened?
about it. Tell me
Listen.
about it. Tell me about it.
That was a freeze moment. Oh my Lord. So yeah. So what happens is that um when we see ourselves right now, we see that the things that our children go through and be like, okay, that's something mom and dad taught
That's
us
right.
about. And when mom and dad taught us that, whatever they gave us that was in the word of God
Mhm.
and to teach us to move, we find ourselves giving that to our
Correct.
children. And times are different than what they were back then. But we still are able to use those things to give to our children. So it's like, hey, You may want to do that, but I've been down that road.
Right, right.
And
right.
I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but I'm trying to tell you to live a life that's going to be a little bit better for you than what I went through.
So basically, because I know this is what happened to me when I see my children going down different roads. It reminds me, I say, hey, I already did that. I've been there, done that,
Listen.
already know. Hey, and it's almost like I said, and what I always have mom laugh, because every time I see them do something, then I got to deal with it. I said, Lord, forgive me for what I put my parents through.
Every time. I look at my son, I look at Tony, and I be like, Lord, in the name of Jesus, I did that to my mom and daddy. I did that to my mom and daddy, so I'm like, Lord, please, Jesus, please,
give me strength, huh?
Give me strength.
I'm telling you, man.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so funny, though. So how would you talk? Let's talk about you and Dad, because you guys had a real. I'm gonna use this word, strange relationship, man. So I think it was more than just daughters, dad, father, and daughter. And I don't mean that in no offensive way, but I just think it was more than that. Could I safely say that you not only did you might have got under his nerves sometime, but you kind of got your way with him too at the same time?
I did. I sure did. The best way that I can break that down to you is I am him and he is me. I am him and he is me. Listen, I had to learn that. I can remember one time, you called me one time, you was like, sis, how do you talk to daddy? I said, real slow. Real slow. Don't talk fast, just real slow. See, the thing of it is with dad is that you just had to sit there and listen to him and be like, okay. Wait till the cool of the day.
Right. And then come back.
Holler at me. Let me holler at yourself. Let me holler at you. What you just said didn't make no sense. It made no sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're the only one who can do that, though. I think you were the only one who had that way with dad. Everybody else was like, man, let that man think how you want to think, say what he wants to say.
Listen, let me look at y'all and tell y'all about this. My siblings did not understand that. I was the only one that understand that. That is because I am him and he is me. That's just how it was. Yeah. I am him. Listen, I would wait until the cool of the day. He would get on my nerve like, sir, that made no sense what you just said. I can remember when he was like, you all so hard-headed. I want all y'all to be in the same church. You need to be in the same church, serving God together. I said, why you mad at us? I said, you don't want to raise all these leaders and now you're mad.
Hey,
you raised a house full of leaders and now you mad.
And to tell you the truth, and now that you really said it, because we all have a mind of our own. We all got a mind. Hey.
Listen.
We all got a mind of our own. Hey, look, it's like once our mind is made up, that's it.
That's it. You're not changing it.
Yeah, that's his fault, huh?
That's that fault. That's what he would do to us. And then I think what he used to do, if we were like, Dad, can we do something? Go ask your mama. No, because you don't want to tell us the truth. That's why he's talking about go ask mama. Mama not gonna let us do it anyway. But Dad was kind of he was kind of a pushover though.
Yeah.
With me.
Okay. Yeah.
I think so.
I told you.
He was a pusher. Listen, I could do anything I wanted to do with that. Y'all know I did. I did.
What's your most memorable moment with him?
This gonna sound real crazy, okay, right?
Let it be crazy.
But I'm going, but see, they know me. You call me over here, this is what you get. I can remember one time, because with us, there was no pants. You couldn't wear no pants. I'm gonna say it again. You couldn't wear no pants. So I'm in my own house. I'm paying my own bills. I was like, why can't I wear pants? So this man pulls around just because it's your house on your church, but I'm paying you rent.
Yeah.
So I can do what I want to do. He pulls up in his truck. I had on my nice black pantsuit. I was looking good now. I was looking good. That man say, And y'all remember them new cell phone, the long ones?
Yeah.
That look like a square box?
Right.
Daddy pulled up. He said, Father, in the name of Jesus. But look like one of them prostitutes on 79th Street. Look like one of them prostitutes on 7th. He picked that big old box phone up. Roosevelt, come right here. Come right, calling my mama. Roosevelt, come right here. And then you should see what he laying got. Baby, that man had a whole thing about that black pants. I was looking good. I told him, I said, you come on in here. Come on in here. Sit down somewhere. And see, I could say stuff to Daddy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, no, don't agree with that. Don't agree with that.
All right.
I could say stuff to Daddy. And he sat down. I said, Mom, I said, tell your husband to act right. Tell your husband to act right. She's sitting there just as quiet as she could be. I said, listen. I said, them same women that you want to put them long dresses on, you know they can lift them up, right? And you talk about Father, I straight. Daddy said, in the name of Jesus. Daddy left me alone.
You know, we need to get on the subject of Daddy.
That was Daddy. Everybody know I'm Daddy's twin. I can remember a time too. Me and Daddy had just had a powwow in the office. I came out of the office, I saying, "Pot talking about the kettle." He talking about the kettle talking to the pot. And everybody was looking at us like, did we just have a good time in service? Yeah. But that's how we gonna talk to each other. And Ella Dill used to say, don't y'all worry about it. That's how they talk to each other. They understand what's going on.
I tell you, I told you I had a real peculiar relationship.
We did.
I don't think nobody understood it but you and him. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. God bless us.
Yeah. But wait, you know what used to get me about Daddy though? He'll get off the phone talking to you, Lorenzo, Ricky, Ross, and Chris, and then to call me or call Lionel and tell him I want to do a family gathering. I just got off the phone with him. I said, didn't you tell him that? Why didn't you tell him when you were talking to him? But you want me to tell him and you just got off the phone. I didn't understand that, but it was him.
Yeah, that was a strange young man. He was a strange man.
Yeah.
He was a man. So, yeah. So tell us, let's move on. As a woman, as you was growing up into womanhood, what would you say was the most profound lesson that you've learned?
That I was beautiful.
Oh, wow. That's deep. Why? Why was that important to you?
Because I never felt like I was. I never felt like I was. I felt like everybody, and I think because I was so much of the tomboy, and I grew up with you all, the boys.
Right.
So it was pretty much more of making sure because these boys will beat you up. He said, my brothers, they the reason I'm rough. I'm a little better now, but praise God. But I never felt like I was beautiful. It's not that mom and dad didn't make me feel it.
Right.
And we didn't so much hear it, but they made sure that we were taken care of.
Right. No, absolutely.
And I never heard it growing up.
Right.
I never felt like I was, because it was always, even in school, run from Elaine, even the boys, run from Elaine or she gonna knock you over.
It's interesting though, because now I stand to be corrected.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can ever say I knew of you to have a boyfriend in high school. Oh, you kept it low key, huh?
I did have a boyfriend in high school, but I kept him low key. As a matter of fact, he did come to the house, and I stood at the gate talking to him. And Dad came to the porch and said, come sit on the porch with that boy.
That's what fathers do.
Yeah. So I kept him low key, but elementary school, middle school, no. Because I was too busy making sure that I held myself down as the oldest girl. And then I told one of my close friends, I said, for me, it was protecting my brothers. So if my brothers need me to fight with them, I'm going to fight with them. So I don't have no time for, I'm not smiling with y'all. I'm not laughing with y'all because I'm going to knock you over if you touch my brothers.
So what was it like once you went from being the only girl in the house and Rosalind come along? So now you got Rosalind, now then later in life, Christina. But what was that like as far as when you had a sister?
Excuse me. I had to adjust because I didn't know what to do because she was there. It's like, okay. And we didn't have to share a room, you know. So it was like, okay, this little girl is here. Mm-hmm. So now it's let me learn how to do her hair. Because mama didn't know how to do nothing but ponytails.
Right.
So I had to learn how to braid, learn how to plait, but this my sister. Okay, then it's not okay. Not only do I have to protect my brothers, and this may sound crazy to some people, even though Lionel is my oldest brother, but it's still, I got to protect him because y'all women crazy. or it's like, I'm the oldest. Mm-hmm. I'm holding it down.
Right.
My daddy wanted me to make sure I got everybody in. Because Dad always leaned on me.
Yeah, he did. I can also.
Dad always leaned on me to make sure stuff was boom, 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 boom. You, the boys, da, 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 da. You, the boys, so then it was the girls, da, 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 da.
So that's a good point.
It was because Dad leaned on me for everything. It was, Elaine, make sure the boy's okay, make sure the girl's okay, make sure the house okay.
So I guess in a way, you being his eldest daughter, that was just his way of really his way. Not that he really was good at expressing it, but that was his way of really showing his love for you.
Exactly.
In essence, giving you that responsibility, that dependency upon you. Even though he had his shortcomings as when he came to expressing it. But I think that listening to you talk and then really just reflecting back, that was his moments of being affectionate, you know?
That was his moment. And we both know that Daddy wasn't really affectionate.
Right.
But his way of love was making sure that we had everything we needed and never wanted for anything.
You know, it was interesting. I was talking with someone and they made that comment that they thought we was the rich people.
Yeah. Do you know how many people on our block thought we were the rich people?
Yeah, I know. That's what this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he made it happen like that. But again, but the greatest lesson you learn about growing into womanhood, beautiful.
That was the greatest lesson that I learned, was that I was beautiful. And had to tell myself that you're beautiful, because another reason I struggle with that is because I've always been the thickest one out of the sisters.
Right.
Out of my sisters, I've always been the thickest one. It's like they could go in a store, 5, 6, and 9, and I'm standing at the door like, what y'all want me to do in there? What y'all want me to do in there? Listen, my arm can't get in half of that dress. What you talking about? What we doing? we not going in there. Wow. I'll sit over here outside and watch. So when even there was a time where Mama didn't mean any harm, and Rosalind kind of saw what happened. Mama didn't mean any harm, But mom said something to me one Thanksgiving when we went to Carolina, and I love my mommy. She's so sweet. And mama was like, pull your shirt down because, everything's showing and you're kind of thick. And I went and sat in the car because it took me back to not feeling beautiful. It took me back. So Rosalind came and she was like, why you sitting in the car? I said, well, mommy said that, my hips showing in my pants and my shirt don't go down. And Ross was like, no, get out that car. Get out of that car. And I said, sis, that's been my struggle all my life, that I'm not as small as you all. I'm not as, I'm the big girl of the family. So I started to adapt. When people say, oh, you Chrissy or you Rosa? No, honey, I'm the large one. That's small and medium. I'm the large one. Let's just get it right. I'm the large one.
Right.
So, we all look alike, but that's how I had to start adapting. I had to start telling myself, Lane, you're beautiful. Lane, you're beautiful. I had to start telling myself that because I never felt like I was beautiful. And then to be married to someone and they say, you're the ugliest woman I've ever been with. That took me back to a depression of, okay, wait a minute. So I am ugly. Okay. But then I had to say, no, Lane. And then to tell you the truth, I went and looked at some of his exes. Oh, okay. Yeah. God bless the hearts and all the parts.
You telling yourself that I'm beautiful, yet though, in that process, was that, or did you have to create a coping mechanism?
I had to create a coping mechanism.
And what would that have been? What was that?
Talking to myself. Talking. And like when people say, oh, don't be talking to yourself. Oh, baby, I talk to myself all the time. I talk to myself. I literally, our sister Rosin taught me to look in that mirror and talk to yourself and say what you need to say to yourself. It works for me. And the reason it works for me, because if it didn't, I would tear up a whole lot of stuff and a whole lot of people too.
How many women you think go through that?
A lot of women. A lot of women go through that. A lot of women go through that.
Especially if they don't, you feel this.
And they don't feel like they're beautiful. They go
get the affection when they're younger.
Exactly. Yeah.
And especially coming from a father figure. Mm-hmm. You think that was that?
Exactly.
Wow.
Because dad never said that. And then let me put this out here. Dad didn't know how to say it. He wasn't taught how to say it. So I don't hold that against him at all. He wasn't taught how to say it. He wasn't taught how to be affectionate like that. His affection was doing and making sure we had, making sure we didn't want for anything, making sure that the house was taken care of, mama didn't want for anything, and making sure mama was good, the bills was paid, wasn't no lights going off, wasn't nothing going on. I remember the phone got cut off because of me, because it was my bill and I didn't pay it. He was like, leave it off. No, sir. And then as soon as I turned it back on, he had the first call. Talking about, let me get that phone. No, you wanted it off. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So as a mother, explain to us, what has motherhood been like for you?
I've made mistakes. Motherhood for me really has taught me to be who I am today. And the reason I say that is because I've had some challenges with my children. And I say my children because you all know how I feel about those that God had given me to raise in my home.
Because you really only have one son.
I have one son biologically. I have one son. I adopted others. Um, Quentin is legally adopted. Kia got her at 16. She was mean and mad at the world.
Yeah.
Shy Shirley. Shirley was 15 when her grandfather was like, "Can you take her?" Tim was 10 when Tim came around, and Mother Rosia and his mom, they were going through their things. So yeah, I was the little old lady in the shoe. Really didn't know what to do. And then like Mitch is on now, Mitchell Twitty. Mitchell come bringing his bag in my house. And I'm like, "Where you going?" I'm coming to live with you.
But you followed the trend what Dad and Mom did.
The same thing Mom and Dad did. Like coming home and somebody in your room.
In your room.
Like, who told y'all to move these people in my room? Who? Y'all didn't get permission to meet from me?
Man, they helped everybody.
Everybody.
They helped so many people. It's not even funny, man.
And to tell you the truth, I don't think that I would not have helped anyone.
Right.
And being a mother to them has taught me to love children in a space where there are. Did I make mistakes? Yes, I did. Did I make them mad? Yes, I did. Were they upset with me? Yes, they were. Do they get upset with me now? Yes, they do. But I pay them no attention half the time now.
So what's some of the mistakes? Can you share one mistake you feel that you've made as a mother being with them?
Not understanding where they were.
Oh, that's a good point. That is, oh my God.
Not understanding.
Man, that's a lesson I had to learn too.
Not understanding where they were. Because what happens is we think about where we were.
Absolutely.
We think about where we were when we were growing up and thinking that it's the same time as now. And it's not. It's not the same time. So what we have to do is see where they are.
Right.
And that's where I made my mistake at, not understanding where they were at that time. Not saying, okay, you know what? Let me take a step back and hear them clearly with an understanding and not hearing to respond to them, hearing to listen to them and not respond to them.
That is, you and me both.
Yeah.
I had to learn to listen.
Yeah.
That was a lesson I had to learn. And I encourage all your parents out there, got to learn to listen to your children.
Yeah.
Even if you might know what they're already going to say, but listen to them. Hear them out. Hear them out before you respond. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
So as a public figure, let's back up a little bit. Let's go back to motherhood. The way that your oldest son come about, what lesson would you give to other women who may find themselves in that same situation?
So when you say how my oldest son came about, meaning how he came into this world?
Yes. You know, because see, this is the challenge. I think this is the point, because all of you went through this.
Yeah.
Especially with a father who we had.
Ooh.
Child out of wedlock. Can we talk about that?
We could talk about that. That's fine. That's my story. That's who I am. I'm not ashamed of that. So
good.
When you're ready, let me know. You ready?
Fine.
Let's go. So let's talk about that. I was 19. It was a 30-day revival because we had those at Central Faith. I didn't want to go to the revival because I saw the little boy and I liked him and he was cute. So instead of going to revival, how real can I be? I could be real.
You real?
So instead of going to the revival, y'all know the little hotel over there on Okeechobee that let the garage down? That's where I was one Wednesday night and not at the revival. Because I thought I was grown. And I was with him. That's where we were.
So it was one night.
It was one night. We were dating, but we were hiding. So it was one night. The first night. We were dating, but hiding. First night. And I can tell you the person who introduced me to him.
We don't have to get into call.
I ain't gonna call no names now. I'll tell you afterwards. But yeah, it was. I wouldn't dare call no name.
What was your experience, and almost your emotional experience when you found out you were pregnant? Was there any fear or anything like that?
No, I wasn't. No, it wasn't no fear. It was. Let me tell this man. Let me tell him. I wouldn't know. Fear about what? You know your sister wasn't scared of nobody.
No, I was talking about dad, man. You know what? Because that didn't go through your mind.
Me scared of daddy?
Okay, you're right. All right, you're right. Okay, you're right.
No, I was not scared. I made sure that I was, and after I found out that I was expecting, I said, well, I have to tell him. And you know, in their room, as soon as you walk in the door, you had the meeting chair.
Right. Yep.
The meeting chair where we have all the discussions.
Right.
So I went in there. I sat down in the room and I said, I need to tell y'all something. Mama was in there. Daddy was in there. So, well, I need to tell you all something.
I want to know one thing. When you tell the rest of the story, I want to know who had the greatest response.
Oh, you wait on it.
Come on.
You wait on it. So Daddy was sitting on the side of the bed. Mama was standing up. And I said, I need to talk to you all. Let me tell you something. I said, I'm pregnant. Daddy stood up, went to the dresser drawer, pulled it out, got his handkerchief, flipped it. Well, we gotta get insurance on the baby. Mama laid down. Daddy said, well, we gotta get insurance. We gotta make sure the baby got insurance. I'm sitting there like, really? This man talking about insurance. That was the response. I'm sitting there like, yep, we gotta get insurance. Mama laid down and folded her hands across her chest like this. That's the one I was scared of. You talking about daddy? I wasn't scared of daddy. Well, I was scared of mama because I didn't want her to start speaking in tongues and praying. Because you know we were going to get a... Yeah.
Hey, leave my mama alone. Leave my mama alone.
Daddy opened that drawer and flipped that handkerchief talking about insurance on the baby. He went and put insurance on it. He put Tony on insurance. Made sure I had insurance. Oh, Mama didn't speak to me for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Mama didn't talk to me. Mama did not talk to me.
Did you feel rejection behind that or what?
No, I said she'll be all right.
Oh, Jesus.
Like now, you know. See,
okay.
Let me explain something to the people. I was that child. My brother, Lionel, used to call me Ann Bishop. Anybody know about Ann Bishop? She was a news anchor at Channel 10 back in the day. I used to tell everything and say everything and didn't care. That was me. So yeah, I wasn't scared of nothing. No, I was that child. What? No, nothing, scared of nothing. So yeah, mom was upset with me. Dad wasn't upset with me. Dad just walked around doing whatever he was doing. He'll call me by my middle name a couple of times. Dad, yeah, he'll call me by my name a couple of times, but no, it was all right. I wasn't upset.
So That's all it was.
That's all it was. That's all it was.
Man, I thought for sure that um I thought for sure, man, y'all had a lot of drama going on after that. I know
No.
how daddy feel about y'all, man. Because I know when it happened to our baby sister, oh man, I thought he was gonna leave here, man. I sure did. I thought he was gonna leave here. Leave here. Okay, hey, so man, that's interesting.
No, he didn't know.
He pull out the white hanky. Say, we
He
gotta
pull
get
out a
insurance.
white. We gotta get insurance on the baby. That's
Man,
all he said.
That is surprising.
That's all Dad said. And then what he was gonna say, I was his drummer. Daddy wouldn't have had no drummer no more. I was his drummer. Daddy had me playing drums at 8 months. what was he gonna say?
So, since you mentioned that, Richard mentioned that, and it's kind of like what you do right now, because my next question to you was, as a public figure, what's your favorite part of being a public figure right now?
Embracing people. Seeing different people all over this world, all over this country, and being able to speak life when it's time to speak life. And because our parents taught us to love people and to love them in this space where they are, I just adapted that, to love people where they are and to love them in that space. And because I watched our parents have so many people come in and out of the house, and people were just in bad shape. And here's where I am, and here's my motto. I try to treat people how I want to be treated.
Right.
And because I try my best to treat people how I want to be treated, that's where I'm at. So being a public figure, it's not all the glamour, the glitz for me. It's just being able to love people where they are, love them in the space that they are, and to love them to a healing place. Because being in a place where I dealt with depression, and really in December, nobody knew I was dealing with depression in December during the Christmas break. I was in the house. Like, I don't want to come out. Don't talk to me. Don't say anything to me. I'm good. So I have to talk to myself and tell myself to get out of that. So as a public figure, I like meeting people. And what a lot of people don't know, I'm an extrovert. When I come outside, I'm okay.
Right.
I can talk. I can be good. But once I'm in the house, okay, I'm here.
So are you saying that a lot of your past experiences plays a lot of part in the role which you play as a public speaker?
Yes.
So you do what you do to be able to engage in the life of others.
That's right. That's right.
Not no glamour or
absolutely
pat on the back.
No.
But when they call on Elaine, Lady D Nelson, to host, you look at that as an opportunity to engage with others, to be inspiring to them.
Yes.
To meet them where they're at.
Yes. The glitz and the glam, I don't get nothing about that. Because here's what I say. And I say it sometimes when I'm hosting. We can go to church and be sitting next to somebody and they're smiling, they're clapping their hands, and they're in the music and really don't know what they're dealing with. But for me, I literally tune in, I channel in, and I see what's going on with that person. And be like, okay, God, give me the words to say that I don't have to talk directly at that person, but whatever I say, they'll hear it and it'll do something to their spirit to say, okay, I can move on. I can go on. As a matter of fact, last Sunday, when I was at Them Boys' anniversary and I was hosting. I had no intentions to talk about my situation with domestic violence, but God took me there. And right after, a young lady came to me. She said, "Thank you for sharing." She said, "Because my friend is sitting in this service and she's dealing with that now. And I really don't know how to help her." Then I got another call and said, "You motivated me." The call was a week later and said, "You motivated me to go ahead and start talking about it because I've been stabbed 16 times, but I won't talk about it." So when God tells me, someone asked me before, said, "Why do you tell your story?" I wouldn't tell my story. That's me. That's who I am. Did I ask for it? No. Did I ask for the depression stuff that I've dealt with in life? No, I didn't ask for any of that. But am I willing to be a servant of God? Because that's who I am first. You could take Lady off the Elaine because it's on my birth certificate. Elaine Denise Nelson is on my birth certificate. But at the end of the day, I am a servant of God. And if being that servant is to be the mouthpiece to save somebody else out of a dark pit that they don't want to talk about, oh, let me talk about it.
What does singing do for you? Because you've been doing it since you was 5.
Can I tell you the truth about that?
Please do.
I don't think I'm a good singer. And that's facts.
What?
I don't think I'm a good singer. I've never thought I was a good singer. Never,
Well, you do it
never.
because you love God. So what's
I
what's the
do
driving?
it.
What's
The drive for me is because it's healing for me. It's
wow?
healing for me. Um, because when I sing, I release whatever I'm going through, whatever I'm dealing with. So I've never, ever, 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 ever thought I was a good singer.
So then, if that's the case, then so the praises, the accolades, the pat on the back, that means nothing to you.
It means absolutely nothing. I'm grateful that people see that in me. And I want to tell everybody thank you that see that in me. But I'm just a servant. I'm just a servant. I don't think I sing my I think my sister Christina and Rosalind, baby, y'all sing better than me. I've always thought that. I wish I could do all them riffs and runs and everything. But I've always said I can't sing like them. I sing, I sing to heal. I praise to heal. I worship to heal. And when I say I sing to heal, I worship to heal, I praise to heal, because there have been times that I didn't want to be here. Didn't want to be here. If I could just sit in my house and not be bothered, I would be good with that. And I say this to one of my close friends. I say to him all the time, and that's my truth. That's my truth. That's my truth. That that like people with and I still be in awe. I looked the other day at the awards that's on my counter and I'm like, really? it's still it still has to register because it doesn't register. It doesn't register because for me, I'm just doing what God gave me to do. I'm a servant. I say to God be the glory. And thank you to everyone. I appreciate you all, but I don't feel it. I don't, because I'm a servant first. I'm a servant.
But you've always have been impactful. Your singing has touched so many other lives, though. And to hear you say that is, I mean, I'm speechless because I think what it is that when you do it from a sincere place. And it's you love God and you use what He has given you to use.
I love God with all my heart. I love Him. Have I been perfect? No. Have I made mistakes? Yes. But I love God with all my heart. And because I love God with all my heart, I love people with all my heart. Do I like some people ways? No. But I love them with all my heart. And that's just me. I don't I don't know how to say it.
Ask this question. Answer this question for me.
Mhm,
Because this is kind of going to my next question.
mhm.
Because you did mention about being a domestic violence survivor. Um, but I want to ask this question before I ask the question. Well, let me ask the question. What would you say was the one most single thought thing or theory that you had to rely on to be a survivor?
Prayer, 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 prayer.
Yeah, but what about those who don't know prayer or feel that they cannot pray?
It's just a conversation with God. It's just a conversation with God. Because what happens is when some people hear prayers like, well, I don't know what to say. Yes, you do. Imagine in your mind that God is sitting right there and have a whole conversation. And the reason I say that is because with my situation, and we had to move out of the house where we were, um, I say, okay, God. And it wasn't no prayer. It was a conversation. I say, okay, God, we need to move. I'm moving into something else with this man. I said, but the first time he start, you get me out of this. You give me a plan to get out of this situation, a plan of escape to get out. And that's exactly what God did. It was not a prayer. It was a conversation that I was talking to him. How look, you told me you'll do it. And I literally said to him, I'm backing you in the corner with your word. I said, I'm backing you in your corner with your word that you're going to take care of me and see about me. And that's what I did. I had a conversation.
How many years did you experience domestic violence?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Was there ever a moment in whereas as you feared for your life?
I did. The moment was when he said, oh, we going out on a date. I'm like, I'm happy, okay. We in a good space. We going on this date. I get all cute. New wig. Y'all know I love my wigs. God bless you. And we going down 79th across the causeway.
Mhm.
And you know, over on the side where the beaches and everybody used to be able to
Right.
sit with me, your cars over there. We get over there. He gets out the driver's seat and opens the door and pulls me out by my wig and then just throw me up against the car and just start punching. And I ran around the car, jumped in the driver's side, and jumped over the seat to the passenger side and locked the door. He got back in. And the scariest part was 79th Street coming across Biscayne. The light was red and the green was coming this way. And he pulled out in front of oncoming cars and said, I'm going to let them hit your side so they could kill you. Yeah.
You know, this is what used to get me with you guys. Because I remember years ago, well, you're not going to call no name, but you was up. This was a time when they used to have testimony service.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave this testimony about this experience that you had. This is when Tony was a little child.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you said something to the point that
Oh, yeah.
you had to jump out the moving car.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And
I remember that.
that was a domestic violence moment too, right?
That was.
So you had been dealing with it since what 20, 21?
That was 21. I was 21 and we were going to the Keys. Me and that particular person that I was seeing at the time. And I gave them the wrong direction. And because I gave them the wrong direction, they took their fists and swung back like this and hit me while the car was moving. And I opened the door and jumped out with my son Tony in my lap. And we went to rolling.
How old was Tony then?
4.
4 years old.
Tony was 4.
Yeah. So you stood up and you gave this testimony.
Yeah, I did.
And I'm sitting there behind the keyboard.
Yeah, I remember.
And I'm looking at everybody.
Yeah.
That whole crew of the Miracle Lights.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, when did this happen?
None of them knew.
But they didn't say anything. Because what happened, if my memory serves me right, because we going back some years now.
Oh, yeah. Because Tony is 40 now.
We going back some years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found that out, and I went to them, I think it might have been Angie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we didn't want to say nothing because we know how you are.
They found out later.
Like that made a difference, though.
It didn't make a difference. Y'all don't even want to know what happened. Mm-mm. The Saints don't want to know.
And that's what gets me, though. You know, even this last experience, I didn't know when you called me to help you move. Yeah. I did not know that that's what you was going through.
Yeah.
So I guess for the sake of others, let me ask this question then, because as a brother.
That was in April, I remember.
As a brother.
Yeah.
Why you all don't say nothing sooner?
Because you crazy.
I am not crazy.
I'm sorry, y'all. He not crazy. When you know your kin folks, that's the best way I can put that. When you know your kin folks and you want to keep your kin folks out of trouble, that's good. Okay, that's better. Thank you, Lord. Tap in right now. When you want to keep your kin folks out of trouble, Nisa say, well, when you want to keep your kin folks out of trouble, you just don't say anything. And here it is. I know my kin folks, and I'm trying to keep them out of trouble. I was trying to keep my daddy out of trouble.
Yeah, you were real low key with that because it is, you know, we laughing, we hanging out,
yeah,
we kicking it with
y'all
this guy.
Y'all work together.
And all this is going on,
Mhm.
and I didn't know again until later
Mhm.
when I found out when you told me what happened. Well, I don't know how I found out, but then that's when I said, oh, really?
But here's the thing. Kia, my daughter Kia, Tobias, and Quentin were in the house and they didn't know what was going on. Oh, okay.
So is it common though for women who are experiencing this to keep it on the down low?
Very common. Very common. Because what happens is it's either we're thinking that we are going to be able to fix them or it will change. And we're trying to protect our family. That's why it's kept on the down low.
Yeah, but you can use let's talk this out.
Talk it out.
Because if that's the case, but you can lose your life. I could see if you didn't have anybody you can go to, but you okay, yeah.
I'm glad you said that. Go ahead.
I don't yeah. When it comes to my family, I'm just absolutely just
Right there.
that I'm just it don't matter, especially because I mean how dare you as a man will want to put your hand on a woman in that way, you know? And um why y'all do that though?
Because it's protecting our family.
But I'm not hearing that.
And I know you're not gonna hear. You ain't gonna hear it ever. But it's protecting our family from getting into trouble.
But your life is on the line. Let me ask this question because that makes me bring this question. Is it possible for women to be in a domestic relationship and not know it? Is that possible?
Oh, yes. You have women right now that if they don't even realize a part of domestic is control. If you finding yourself every time your phone ring and you putting it on the speaker so he could hear the conversation, that's a part of domestics. That's control.
Yeah, but it's got, oh my God, man. Now we got some comments here. My wife said, well, he's a little crazy when it comes. She said he's a little crazy when it comes to his family. Peace be Smith and Weston. You know, that's what some
and
of y'all.
Kia said we didn't know either. Huh? Yeah, she said we didn't know either. Huh? They didn't know. And the thing of it is, he would smile and grin with them.
That's what I'm saying.
He would smile and grin.
Man, we lifting weights, we playing basketball. You right, we work together. I got him working with me and whatever, man. And this guy doing this to my sister, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you were really cool, you know.
I was good, honey. I was a good actor. Anybody got anything?
So you know how to got that rump now. You know?
I know that, honey. I know. God bless you. But here's the thing. When Daddy found out, Daddy told me, Daddy say, tell him I'm gonna get all my guns out my shed and I'm coming to Miami. Mama say, your daddy get this gun. Daddy had them guns out the shed. Hey, yeah.
So women can be in domestic violence situation, not know it. They can be in it and afraid to say it because of the sake of their family.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Where does fear come in? Is there a part of fear?
Yes.
And where?
The fear comes in by the control part. It comes in by the control. Because what they do is they isolate you from everybody. They start to isolate you from everybody. And what happens is that, like with me, because it was, oh, you talking to this one. Oh, you said, oh, who said something to you at church? Who did this? Even to the point of one Thursday night, and I played the drums. I don't know who told him I played that night, but he had a little birdie at the church and told them I played. And he was like, oh, you played and you didn't tell me you didn't tell me you played. And that was a whole blown up thing. So it was control. So I stopped going places, stopped doing anything. And yeah, it's control. That brings on the fear. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So where you at right now?
I'm good.
What did you do for healing?
Music, talking to myself, and I have because most people don't understand this, and this may sound a little weird, but I'm okay with that. And anybody that ever been in my out of the box events, they know I say this. I have 3 male best friends, and they all talk to all 3 parts of my brain. Eric say he good. They all talk to all 3 parts of my brain. One is a professor, one is a pastor, and one is a Peter.
Crazy. You're absolutely crazy. I'm afraid of the Peter one.
Exactly. I could call him here and say, "What your done did now?" What you done did now? He'll cuss me out. Like I did nothing. I'm just trying to check on you. But see, here's the thing. All of their people, meaning their wives, know me.
Right.
And I don't call them randomly. I don't call them all the time.
Right.
It'll be a whole year. But they know if I say, "Hey, I need to talk." Even my best friend that's a philosopher. He's a professor. He's a pastor as well. But one of them, I asked him one time, I said, "Hey, what's wrong with me? Why nobody can't love me like I want to be loved?" And he said, "There's nothing wrong with you. They just don't know how to love a person like you."
Like you. That's it.
That's what he said.
That's it.
He said, because you have to understand, you don't need a whole lot.
Right. Right.
You're not that person that needs a whole lot. And someone said to me one time, it was a gentleman, he said to me one time, he said, "Oh, I would never date you." I said, "Well, I don't remember putting in the application for you. I didn't put no application in for you. What we talking about? What, you weren't on top of my list, no way." And I said, "Why did you say that?" He said, "Because look at you. Look how you dress and look how." I'm like, "Dude, I'm an ambassador. God blessed me through other people to bless me, so I can advertise for their business." So that's
you work with what you have. Then.
I work with what I have.
Huh?
I make it work. Yeah. I'm like, no. So I say, you have to get to know me for who I am. And one of my close friends, he asked me a couple of months ago, he was like, "Well, who is Elaine?" I said, "Elaine is someone that some people can't know, because that's only for people who's in my life intimately to know. Other than that, the public has to know Lady Elaine and not Elaine."
That's, when you talk about really someone knowing how to love you, that's what I say about my wife. Yeah. My wife knew how to love me. And that's why I am and who I am today. So that is very important. And so it's good that you say that women who have or are passing through the domestic violence, that experience that, for them not to feel that the problem is with them.
Right.
They need to understand, no, it's the problem with the person, because the person that they're with does not know how to love them the way that they need to be loved or want to be loved.
Because I asked that question because I'm like, I know how to love. And I said to someone, I said, it don't take a lot for me. I don't need a whole lot. I don't need I don't need all that. I don't need, it's just when I go out into the public, I have to do what I have to do for ministry. But once I come home, I just want to sit. I just want to be there, talk, go chill, walk on the beach, have a conversation with just us. But all that other, I don't.
But you're not a hard person, please.
No.
You're just a simple person.
Thank you, brother. I'm simple. No, I'm so simple.
I would say that you and I, we're gonna get out of here. We gotta wrap this up because our time has expired. But you and I think we're kind of on that radical side. And it does take special people to understand who we are and where we come from, and understand our heart. Hey, what's this? Hey,
it was good. Thank you for having me.
Man, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
What would be your last final words to the audience?
So my last final words to the audience would be okay with loving you. Be okay with loving you. So many times we look for the world to love us like we want to be loved. But in order for the world to love us like we want to be loved, we have to love ourselves like we want to be loved. And it's okay to look in that mirror and say, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be okay. It's okay to look in that mirror and say, you good, and mean it in your heart. Mean it in your heart. And it's okay to get that one song on YouTube and play it as many times as you want to until you feel better. I love you all.
Yeah, that's awesome. Again, sis, thank you so much. Love you as well. Hey, y'all, thank you so much. Our time has expired. We'll see you next week. I got somebody else. I'm gonna see if I can get him on the couch. So we're gonna see what happens. Y'all look for the announcement later in the week. They don't know it, but it's coming. So I'm gonna see if I can get them on this couch. We're gonna have this conversation, keep this thing going. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed. My sister, please, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, because we do broadcast live on our YouTube channels, please go there, subscribe to the channel. Help us. We need 1,000 subscribers. Can you all help us? We're like 28 shy of 1,000 subscribers. Can you all help us out, please? And while you're there, go ahead and like and share, and also leave a comment. If just don't go there and leave a comment, because I believe all of that has a lot to do with the algorithm as well. Hey, even if it's just a simple, hey, enjoyed the show, or a thumbs up or something, just to get this thing going. And we'll certainly appreciate all of you. We thank all of you for your comments and you just really engaging with us. You know who you are. I do apologize I didn't call your name, but hey, much love to you. But again, hey, we'll see you next week. Please set your clock, your calendar to 7 p.m. to log on to A Father's Note. We love you. God bless you. Have a great day.